Good morning, everyone. This is Father Nate, missionary priest in Italy, and thanks for joining us today, February 12th, on No Greater Delight, our podcast on Marian feasts and Marian meditations. Well, again, today we have a number of Marian feasts throughout the world. Today, there's a lot of feasts in Italy, probably because of the great earthquakes in 1854, around this time. I know we had mentioned those a couple days ago. And so today, we'll start off with Madonna Immacolata in Luzzi, Cosenza, Calabria in Italy, right? Now, again, the Immaculate Virgin, as this would be the Immaculate Madonna, was already venerated in Cosenza for her help during the 1656 plague and the 1693 earthquake, right? And for that reason, the Capuchin monk Antonio Collice carved a wooden statue of her in 1718. So after the earthquake of February 12th, 1854, she received the title of Protectress and Patroness of Luzzi. During the centennial, so that's 1954, the statue was canonically crowned. The celebration begins on this day, which is she was canonically crowned on November 17th, but her feast begins with a mass and then a procession, and then, after reading a decree verifying her miraculous assistance, the mayor hands candles to the parish pastor. We also have in Italy, if you recall, of those Italian celebrations because of Our Lady's protection during earthquake. This also explains the devotion to Madonna della Pecorella in Pedace, Cosenza, Calabria, Italy. Again, 1854 earthquake. Madonna del Pilerio in Cosenza, Calabria, Italy. Same reason. Also Santa Maria della Sera, Montalto Ufuggo, Cosenza. Right? Thanksgiving to Mary for her protection. And also we celebrate, now this one is not necessarily related to an earthquake, but Madonna del Conche di San Costanzo in Brescia, Lombardia in Italy. So this has to do with an apparition that took place in 1080, right? So Saint Costanzo, if I recall, was a soldier, and he had a big conversion. He also had a great love for Our Lady of Mercy, whom he accredited for his conversion. And so he decided that he wanted to build a church next to a small convent of sisters, right? And so he needed to choose the place, and so he lifted his eyes to heaven, and he saw Our Lady with the child Jesus in her arms, up, given a certain height, right? Like elevated, obviously he's looking up, so she's above him. And with her maternal smile, she indicated to him the place to build the church, right? And he said there couldn't have been a clearer signal of the divine will. So in that place, he constructed the church as a proof of his conversion and of his love for Our Lady. But we're not done yet, because there's even more feasts. So we said there's a whole bunch of feasts in Italy, but also in France, right? For instance, they celebrate Notre Dame in Argentré de Plessis in Brittany, France. The rebuilt church was blessed on this day in 1779. There's also Sainte Marie in Auch, Gueuze, the Midi-Pyrenees in France. This cathedral church was dedicated in 1121 and then apparently rededicated in 1548. We also celebrate Nostra Senora del Monserrate in Puerto Rico. The statue was crowned on this day in 1995. If you head to Russia, which maybe you wouldn't do now, they recall Our Lady of wherein and the Virgin of Mount Athos, both in Moscow. Not a whole lot of information on them. And also, our friend, the Abbot Orsini, says that today is the feast of Notre Dame de Argenteuil, the church on the Seine River near Paris, France, sometimes said to have been built by Clovis I in the year 101, although they say Clovis I actually reigned from 481 to 511. So, be that as it may, that's what we're celebrating today, February 12th, in the Marian world. For today's reading from the Imitation of Mary by Alexander de Rouville, we continue with Book 2, which considers Mary's virtues and life from Jesus' birth to his death. And today we consider Chapter 21, Union with God. And again, as in many of the chapters, it's a conversation between the believer and Mary. We start off with the believer, and then we'll hear Mary's reply. The believer. God of charity and love, may you be forever praised for the close relationship you deigned to establish with the Virgin you had chosen as the mother of the Savior. And may you, Holy Virgin, be praised as you deserve for having faithfully corresponded to God's grace. I cannot weary of admiring your sublime virtues.
But what especially excites my wonder is your intimate and unbroken union with him. Your heart, free as it was of all affections towards creatures, was like a mystical heaven within which the Lord loved to dwell and where you enjoyed his presence and peace. Sleep did not interrupt this sweet relationship, and you could say with the bride of the Song of Songs, I sleep, but my heart watches. That's Song 5:2. Why is it not given to me to live united to God in this way, and to be bound to earth only by the bonds of the body? Mary's reply, My child, it was a great grace the Lord gave me that I should never lose awareness of his presence. If you aspire to the same favor, begin by doing away with all earthly affections and separating yourself from all that is not God. The effort is a costly one, but you can never pay too dearly for the gift that will reward your efforts and sacrifices. Make use of everything around you to elevate your mind to God, and you will find countless reasons for glorifying and praising him. The heavens, that stretch so majestically before you, declare the glory of God. That's Psalm 19:1. The sparkling of the stars is an image of his splendor. The vast extent of the oceans gives you an idea of his immensity. All the beings scattered throughout nature speak of his perfections. Everything, even the smallest flower of the fields, is like an open book set before your eyes to tell you of him. You can find God without going out of yourself, for you do not have life or movement or existence except in him and from him. It is God who enlightens your mind, moves your will, and makes your heart beat, and asks for that heart in the tenderest and most affectionate way. This God of all goodness watches over you to protect you, and commands nature constantly to help you in your need. There is no need, then, to look for him far away from you. Enter into yourself, become aware of his holy presence, and he will cause you to experience it in many ways. He will do it at all times through unexpected enlightenment, and at other times through brilliant thoughts, hidden impulses, pious sentiments, and loving reproofs of your infidelity. Avoid putting obstacles in the way of these varied effects of grace by any levity of mind and boredom of will. Take up the practices that can best lead you to God, and fulfill your obligations in a religious spirit. In your ordinary actions and the duties of your state, act in keeping with the intentions of providence. Even in holy things, do nothing hurriedly, but for precipitation, too, can hinder the innermost harmony which alone unites man to God. When you find yourself filled with joy or sorrow, do not follow the impulse of nature or open your heart to creatures, but only to God. Love to share with him what saddens or rejoices you, looking upon him as a father and friend before whom you can confidently lay the causes of your sufferings, your joys, and your contentment. It is especially through this interior intimacy that you will win his heart and approach that holy union, which is the sweetest enchantment that life holds for the Christian soul.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you enjoyed our Marian podcast. As St. John Paul II teaches us, from Mary we learn to love Christ, her Son, the Son of God. Through her intercession, may we grow ever closer to him. We encourage you to share this with a loved one or friend and help spread our devotion to Mary. Thank you, and God bless.